Testing 1 2 1 2.
Is it working? It's working.
It's freaking working. Welcome to a new episode of JustReal, and with you, Ali Kazma, property advisor in the Dubai real estate market, and with me,
Ahmed Didi, I'm a property consultant in Dubai's real estate market for the past couple of years. In today's episode, we will be talking about the last initiative of Dubai Land Department along with the government for first-time property buyers. And we're gonna talk a bit about the latest investor sentiment internationally. So, Ali, talking about the initiative, I'm sure you heard about it. It was spread 2 days back, right? We know about it. What do you think about the initiative?
so just to break down this initiative, first of all, it's basically the Dubai Land Department that put in place a program for first-time buyers. And this program includes developers and banks, and if I'm not mistaken, there's about 13 developers in this program.
There is 11 till now, but still they are doing some agreements with other developers, now the major ones basically. But yeah.
And 5 banks that also allows to participate for the first-time buyers. So basically, this program, what's the benefit of this? Why the Dubai Land Department put this program in place is basically to give the opportunity to these first-time buyers to get discounts on properties, to get flexible payment plans, and to be more willing to invest in the real estate market here in Dubai. So in my opinion, this is, and also to give the security, right? Because if they're doing this initiative, meaning that they're confident enough in their product to say, hey, you know what, we're gonna give you a discount, why not bring your money in, right? Yeah. So it's just, it's a couple things.
When you talk about security, do you mean the security of protecting individual investors from the sharks who buy a lot of properties in one, like the bulk buyers, the full floor buyers? That's what you mean?
The security, no, well, first of all, the security, when I was talking about security, is basically about their product, the whole market.
Oh, okay.
So they're confident that their market is not going to crash. In a crashing market, you don't give benefits like this, okay? Yeah. Those technical...
But in a slowing down, I mean, that's arguably, in a slowing down market, okay? I'm being the devil's advocate now. But in a slowing down market, usually you have to do initiatives, smart initiatives as this, to motivate first-time property buyers to take a market share in this real estate market, right?
But okay, so if you break it down again, what's the reason that these first-time buyers are reluctant to invest? Because first of all, you have to bring in a lot of cash.
Okay.
The cash issue is something that not all the people have. If you go outside of Dubai or outside of the UAE, 95%, I'm talking about Canada, 95% of people are purchasing through a mortgage. So minimal down payment, whether it's a 5, 10% through certain programs, very rare, you will have some people, but very rare will put the actual 20%. So they're trying to attract those people. And again, we don't know all the specifics of this program. Are they gonna reduce the down payment? When they say more flexible payment plan, are they gonna elongate the terms of these payment plans?
So what I've heard, so as per what people know already in Dubai, it's 20% down payment in every project, every developer, and 4% Dubai Land Department, right? So what I've heard or read, that they will make this down payment even more flexible. So they were divided or extended in a way where it suits the people who care about their cash flow over the next 3 to 4 years, depending on the project.
So you see, the down payment is not even 20% anymore. If they're splitting it, okay, you pay 10% now and the other 10% after 6 months. Yes. So technically your down payment is 10%.
Yes. But you know something, I've had I can say an argument from a client who said, if the market is doing that great, why would the major developers give discount for first-time property buyers?
Again, what do we know about these discounts?
I mean, they said 0 to 10% basically. 0 to 10% depending on the developer and on the project.
Okay.
Right?
Look, why does...
I said, usually Dubai, okay, it's a fair point. Let's be honest about this. It's a fair point. It's critical thinking. I appreciate this. But what I said is, Sometimes the government itself, not even the developers or Dubai Land Department, the government itself does these or this type of initiatives, even if the developers would compromise a bit of their profits to keep the market outgrowing itself. If you think about it, it shouldn't necessarily be a negative sign or a red flag. It can be that the government itself doesn't want the current investors only investing in the stocks, buying again and again and again in bulks. We want people to, especially first-time property buyers, to buy from major developers, right, without favoritism, with ease at the same time. As an example, how many times you had clients that gave you expression of interest, you put it in the developer, but you don't get a unit?
It happened. Right. It happened, and it still happens.
Yes, so now you have more chances, especially as a first-time property buyer, to potentially get stock, to get a property in that building.
So this program also wants to put the equality towards all the investors. Yeah. It's not because you have $1 billion to invest that you will have priority. Yeah. They want to give this equal part to everyone. They want to say, okay, whether you have $1 million or $1 billion, you have the same rights to get a unit. And before, what was happening in the big developers, Nakhil, Miras, you'd go in, even if you have 5 checks under your name, you wouldn't get a unit because you have big sharks in the market that comes and picks up everything in bulk, which again, this is not necessarily a good thing, because these people that pick up everything in bulk, well, if one of them starts defaulting, then what's the strategy? Either you default and you're affecting the construction of this project because now you're not paying the developer is waiting after money to continue the construction, or you start reselling, but at your original price, and even some of them, if they're really in need of money, they will sell under the market price and under the original price, meaning that you have 3, 4, 5 transactions under market or under original price. What happened to the whole project? You killed it.
Yeah, makes sense.
You get it? Yeah. So that's why you're minimizing the risk as a developer to give access to everyone, because what are the chances that everyone defaults at the same time?
0.
Not 0, there's still chances, but again, it's less probable that happens than if you have one guy picks up everything, and then if he defaults, then guess what?
Yeah, absolutely. This is more protective, I agree.
And again, this initiative is not meant for ultra luxurious property. So the first-time buyers, they could go to properties up to 5 million dirhams. Oh, okay. So it's not, I'm going to go buy a mansion for 50 million dirhams and ask for a discount.
Yeah. So this might not apply for villa lunches, right? For expensive townhouse lunches.
Exactly. It depends of the price point of these launches and the developer.
I mean above. If it's above 5 million, then it most probably will not apply.
Exactly.
Because it's now from 0 to 5 million. Also, the goal behind this is to motivate the people with lesser amounts of money who want to really take a share of the successful market.
Because exactly, whoever has the power or the cash to pay for something that's 20 million plus, does he need a discount? Is that your target for a discount? Look, I'll give you a straight example. Like, does Louis Vuitton, Dior, Chanel, do they do discounts?
No.
No. Why?
Because they have a brand power, they can sell it.
Exactly, because they know the people that come and purchase, they don't need a discount to purchase. Yeah. But Carrefour, Lulu Market, all of these, they do discounts. Yeah. Why they do discounts?
It's crazy that you compared Louis Vuitton with Lulu.
But I mean,
how about Zara, for example?
Yeah, well, Zara, H&M. Yeah. I mean, look, just to give you extreme examples, right? The lower end product will usually get discounts to attract the people there. The higher end, okay, it might not sell like this, and you might not sell volume, but at the end of the day, they don't need discount, these people. Yeah. So that's a good thing. I mean, I'm hoping that this initiative, now it's new in the market. Yeah. There's a lot of things we don't know exactly.
Yeah, they're still even working on the front end, I think, and the back end in Dubai Rest to create a very flexible experience. And you can directly contact the developers, check the projects, everything will be at ease.
But if you're a buyer, don't do that.
Huh?
But if you're a buyer, don't do that.
If
Come to us.
No, I mean, our clients don't do this. It's fine. You don't even need the discounts. But
That's
anyways.
our services is part of the service.
Okay, but speaking of, so you spoke about the pros, which are the equilibrium in the market when it comes to allocating units, right? This will drive demand more. We will get more maybe capital appreciation because of this demand as well on the short term. And you talked about the flexibility and the motivation of these first-time buyers to acquire a certain market share in the industry. But what do you think the cons are?
The only con that I see is that people would be taking this initiative thinking, oh, it's a good opportunity for me to purchase something and to flip it, and thinking it's a quick scheme thing, which is not. Okay. Because what might happen is that, okay, and this, by the way, it applies to residents, to expats,
at the same time,
to outside investors.
Yes, but at the same time, you know that developers, you cannot sell your property now before 50% in I think most of the developers already. Emar, it was 35%, became 40%, now it's 50% to resell your property, right? Miras, Nakhil, etc. And so it's at least 50%. Even some developers do not allow you to sell below OP, for example, such as Ellington. So all of this to protect other investors. So if you f***ed up, other investors will stay safe. That's the point of it. They don't want a flipping market.
Again, what's being told to these people is different than the reality that's happening. We still have to these days, Ahmed, you're getting calls, I'm getting calls, people wanting to sell because somebody promised them that they could flip their property within.
Yeah, absolutely. This will never finish, even in very good markets, in slowed down markets, and whatever.
And that's why
it's an individual situation as well, right? It's not only about economy or the cycle or whatever. No. It's individual. You might find a lot of cases that are distressed. We can say distressed. But at the same time, also some initiatives usually lead to distress situations. So you have to protect your investor whether as a government, which is doing great job, to be honest, or as a developer individually.
So just to come back to the cons, I think that it might attract some people that think that it's an easy scheme. That's first con. The second con is...
Will sharks get pissed off?
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Like, people that are used to buy in bulk and to have the first pick on everything, the best unit, they're going to be upset. Because this technically tells them, hey, stay in your corner. He was before you, so he's allowed to get a unit before you do. So it might create this friction. But you know what? These developers, they don't even need these sharks anymore.
But look, and I also think whoever used to buy bulk deals, they can still invest in more expensive stuff. So now, for example, offices, commercial spaces. You always have a shortage in offices and commercial spaces. Like the warehouses in Al Quoz, for example. Good luck renting out or buying a warehouse.
Yes,
right? Because these usually have the least supply and the highest returns, which is also very hard to get. So these might invest here. These people might invest or reinvest in their businesses to expand it. Because I think if someone wants to invest money, it's not like, I didn't get a full floor in the address and then I'll keep this money in the bank. It doesn't make sense, right? No. You will move the money either way. So maybe it's just a circulation in the economy of Dubai itself.
Or you could go spend it in a club.
What club you can spend 100 million dirhams at?
You'd be surprised.
Don't tell me what, I don't have them. I will not go there. But no, seriously.
At the end of the day, it's basically a new initiative. So whatever is going to happen in the near future, we'll know more details about how they're going to curate it, how they're going to take it forward, if they're going to do any modifications, right? Because Dubai is basically it implements something and then it learns within the process. It might not be perfect at the beginning, but with time it will be like, wow, okay, that initiative was done for that purpose. So that's what's nice. So we don't know all the details. Again, we've mentioned a couple of pros and cons, and then we'll see what happens. I mean,
Yeah, 100%.
excited.
The second topic I want to talk about is the international investor sentiment, let's say. So why I want to talk about this, because a couple of days back I was sitting with friends, and one of these people, he has properties already in Dubai, but I felt he was a bit negative or pessimistic about the sentiment. So one of the things he talked about is how much Russians are investing now. Is it like before? It's not like before. How much Chinese are coming now? So I was like, why do you think these people are not coming to invest anymore? So whether Chinese, Europeans, or Russians, which basically threw a lot of money in the Dubai, in the real estate market.
Sorry to interrupt, but the Russians were never top one buyers in Dubai in any quarter from the beginning of the war in Ukraine till.
But they bought. Do you mean in terms
bought.
of transactions
Yeah.
or transaction value?
They were never top one, whether it's in transaction.
No, they weren't top one. I mean, I think
Like they were big buyers.
If I'm not mistaken, Indians are always top one.
Exactly.
Ever since Dubai started developing, Indians were number one.
So why
right?
people keep talking, the Russian, they stop coming?
No,
they're
because,
leaving.
okay,
How?
that's a good point. People always talk about Russian investors because Russians are one of the nationalities that contributed to the very rapid growth in the real estate.
But was it because they came and invested all this money here, or Dubai was already so low that anyone that came in contributed to that exponential growth?
Yeah, absolutely. But also Russians bought very expensive properties.
Fine.
They bought very expensive properties, especially in Palm Jumeirah, especially in beach fronts, in waterfronts. So this contributed, this facilitated, let's be honest about it, this facilitated a lot. But the point is, so the sentiment was very good at the time because they saw how Dubai treated Corona, okay? How they dealt with all the ties after this economical disaster due to the pandemic. And it was such a great example. It was like positioned to be the hub of the new money, right? And where was this money put? In the real estate market. That's the point.
But so the sentiment, the negative sentiment of whether the Russians are investing or other people are just out, you know, if we look inflow versus outflow, there's still more inflow coming to Dubai. Because some people are going to tell you, yeah, we made 200,000 new residencies, but they don't take into account the people that left. I think plus and minus, I would have to double check the numbers.
But we are still positive. Look, for the population to increase, even if it increased 0.5% yearly, if you calculate the positive minus negative, which is the inflow minus outflow, you will see it's positive, right? Yeah. Because the population is growing at whatever percentage. But what I'm saying is some nationalities are not putting money as much as before. But this doesn't necessarily mean that the sentiment is negative. It's just one of the reasons is the ROI recently became a bit lesser than before. So before, because sales prices were a bit low, okay, you can buy a property and rent it out at maybe 9%, 10%. But after that, the sale prices started increasing at a faster at a greater pace compared to rentals. Does it make sense? So the ROI became lesser and lesser. But my argument was, if you think about Chinese in Hong Kong, if you think about British people in London, if you think about even Russians, if you think about any European nationality, how much are these people paying in taxes? How much are these people paying in capital appreciation tax, in rental income tax, in all of these taxes, even stamp duty, which is 4% in Dubai. You have London is up to 15% if your property is 1.5 million pound plus. Okay? So what do you get out of it at the end of the day? It's a net 1.52%, 3% if you're lucky, if you get a good deal. Versus a country that doesn't charge you taxes. It has a positive position in the world. It has a lot of money inflow coming in and into different segments. We talked a lot about this in the past couple of episodes. So this versus that, I'm keeping to my pocket net 5-6%. In good deals you get 7% still. So that was my argument. And then I told this person, if you're British, Russian, Chinese, etc., where do you put your money? Real estate wise. Let alone the Chinese industrial area and the supply chain area beside Al Maktoum Airport. So Dubai is trying to connect all the world with ease and even try to connect people inside with ease as well, right? So doesn't it make sense? That's my point. That was my point. Huh? I mean, he was convinced, but you know, when you have sometimes a negative perspective about something, then it's very hard to change it. It's very hard to change it. But it makes sense because have you heard about these two ultra-rich British people that came here? I forgot their names, to be honest, but I remember their net worth was like 20-30 billion combined. And they came and bought properties and invested in the market here. And they even moved to Dubai. Every year we are hearing similar stories from international people, expats coming to Dubai and deciding to live in Dubai, to move their businesses, to move their families.
The inflow of multimillionaires from all around the world is now choosing Dubai as the paradise place to be. Yes. Because of everything it provides for them. And actually, there's a lot to be provided.
But that's it. I'm just being objective. I wasn't selling Dubai because I'm a broker, right? I consider myself a consultant, not a salesman. But I was just like critically thinking, okay, if this is your opinion, how about seeing the other picture? And then you decide.
I think whoever is pessimistic about this market is seeing things narrowly, is focusing on one event, is not looking at the bigger picture. If you look at Dubai and you look at the bigger picture, you see the potential in it. Just go on Google Maps, as simple as that. How much space do you still have in Dubai for development and for people to come in? You have a lot of space. Go on Google Maps in London. Tell me if you're able to find a plot, let me know. I'll buy it. That's how the rarity of things are happening over there. And this is why you see prices skyrocketing. So to compare, the Russians are leaving or this type of investor is not investing as much, doesn't matter. You have to look at things in a bundle. An investment is not one event, because you know what they say? They say, buy the rumor, sell the news. This is what these people are doing. Yeah. They have this, their sentiment fluctuates on what they see on Gulf News or what they see on social media. And whatever happened geopolitically between
if you remember
two countries.
Fitch report.
Well,
you remember this report who expected 16%?
Fitch report was a big headline.
Yeah, when people were like panicking, like, guys, come on, you're investors, first of all, and there is risk in your investments. You should always factor in your risk, right? But do you really think it's very risky if you're now doing 7%, 8% ROI, and you woke up and you find you're doing 6.5%? Does this... I mean, it really matters for very big numbers, but it's still more, that was my point, it's still more lucrative than other markets.
I'm optimistic about Dubai.
I'm optimistic too. I mean, I live here.
And look,
Otherwise, I won't live here if I'm not optimistic about the
look. To be very honest with you, when I came here, I thought it was a golden apple, but inside it was completely empty. But the more I experience the city, the more I experience the services, the more I live here, the more I understand that no, this city is like, it's like an iceberg, right? So you see the 10%, the 90% is still hidden. And until you get to see all the facades and everything it has to offer you, then that's when you're truly amazed about the grandeur of the grandeur.
So very complicated words.
The grandeur.
You're fucking articulate.
Yeah, the la
Like
grandeur.
you say hard. I trust you.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you say very hard words.
You see iceberg grandeur. No, but seriously.
Yeah. Look, I agree.
Thank you for listening.
Dubai. Can I speak first?
Go
No,
ahead.
Dubai is great. The market is still positive. We are seeing the numbers are very, very good. And yeah, invest more. If you have money, invest more. And thank you as usual for listening to this episode. If you like it, like, share, subscribe. This would really help us do it more, do more research, and bring more in-depth topics. Thank you so much, Ali. Thank you as usual.
Thank you, Ahmed.
And see you in the next episode.
See you in the next episode.